Can you guess what one virtue that I don't have?
One virtue that you don't have?
Mm-hmm.
Infinite patience?
Close. One virtue that I don't have is empathy for
For incels?
incels
Yeah, yeah,
and empathy for red pill men.
yeah.
But somehow this has become a topic of conversation after Louis
Theroux?
Theroux's
Theroux.
Theroux? Yeah, okay, there you go. Documentary Into the Manosphere. So let's talk about that. Hi everyone, welcome back to This Is Why They Hate Us, episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're here with me, Kath.
And me, the white guy with the white skin and all that, the imperial skin,
The colonizer
colonizer skin, yeah.
skin. And you have the name to go with it too.
That's right, Christopher,
Yeah.
like Christopher Columbus, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, did you know that they are putting up a Christopher Columbus statue at the White House?
Why? Like, here's the Spanish conquistador piece of shit. Like, we're gonna have a just because, like, white supremacy, bro. Like, that's even well, like, I can at least understand the fake reasons they have for the Confederate statues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because this is like really weird propaganda and white supremacy. Those are all statues to people who shot American soldiers, by the way. So I don't know why they would have that in America.
Yeah,
Confederate statues, but
apparently now they are putting up Christopher Columbus statue at the White House. You know, I mean, it feels like genocide is all the rage these days.
in rape,
anyway.
he was a rapist too. Yeah, so you know, I mean, gotta go with the flow. You know,
Stella guy.
yeah. I mean, cultures change. You know, like sometimes like what's out for hundreds of years comes back in. You know,
What is it? The pendulum swings back and forth.
yeah, like
Yeah.
when it swings to the right, the R stands for rape. You know, it swings back to the R.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right, so this is not what the episode is about. The episode is actually about Louis Theroux's
Mhm.
documentary Into the Manosphere that we watched, I think, a couple of
Last
weeks
weekend.
back, right?
I think it was about either last weekend or the weekend before that.
Yeah, a couple of weeks back. So the documentary went viral for the right reasons, but also for the wrong reasons.
yeah.
Exactly. So talk us through a little bit about what the documentary is about.
So basically, it's like a beginner's intro to the Manosphere. It's not really, it doesn't get really deep into it. So if you've never heard of this stuff, you'll learn a lot about like the terminologies and things like that.
Not even
about
a
the
lot of the
personalities.
terminologies.
Well, I mean, you learn about the culture a little bit, like the way they talk about people, like the term, that kind of terminologies, not names, not like specific incel names, like Floyd or whatever, Chads and Stacey's.
McTow, all
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more normal looking, which is kind of scarier. But it talks about like who these men are and their possible backgrounds, because these men just put on, you know, they're all phonies, you know, they're all grifters. Some of them are more open about it than others. And it's all about the Manosphere from the perspective of the Manosphere and a man who's not part of it looking inside of it, but it doesn't really go far enough.
Yeah, and some of the, what do we call them? Do we call them red pill men? Do we call them incels? What do we
Yeah,
even
just call them incels, yeah.
Okay, some of the incels that were featured were Sneeko,
Sneeko.
HS, this weird guy who probably still has a high school mentality. That's why
Yeah.
he goes with HS, probably.
There's also that like older man who rambled on about how he started from nothing, and I forget his name.
Something. I mean, they're not worth remembering, but
They're all mediocre people.
Yeah, he was basically giving Andrew Tate scammer, but Andrew Tate was it Timu version?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Andrew Tate himself is already very low quality, so
Yeah.
that says a lot.
Like, imagine being sub Andrew Tate.
So the documentary, as you said, I thought it was very 101, very much basic into the Manosphere. I think I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but if you want to get really deep down into the nitty gritty of the Manosphere, you should definitely read Laura Bates' book, Men Who Hate Women, because there she really goes. She went undercover onto 4chan, onto Reddit, and she did extensive research on those forums, on incels. She talked about the terminologies. She talked about what these men want. And it was terrifying in a way that some of these men, they actually want to legalize rape.
Yeah.
They actually shared ideas on how to rape women. So it was terrifying. But when I was watching the documentary Into the Manosphere, I felt like it was it was downplaying the problem a little bit, the manosphere a little bit, because when you looked at it, you saw that, okay, it is a problem. However, the one biggest criticism that I have, that we talked about it as well, and the criticism that I see a lot online being discussed, is that Louis did not talk enough about the impact of what the manosphere is doing to women and girls.
Yeah.
Essentially, I thought, yeah, it was a good thing to bring it to the mainstream media. I mean, it was on Netflix, so it is a good idea to do that. But Adolescent did a better job at doing that, because
Yeah.
Adolescent made it look scary, terrifying, and urgent, because that is how urgent and terrifying it is. But Louis made it seem like, oh, these men are just kind of weird, kind of loserish.
Just a little bit on the alternative fringe side, but not like dangerous or anything.
Yeah,
Except they
exactly.
are fucking dangerous.
They are, absolutely. So what did you think of it? And then we'll go into the whole criticism that I was mentioning.
I think Louis is, I mean, first we have to talk about Louis. Like, Louis usually makes documentaries that are like introductions into like Christian Zionists, for example, or introductions into like the Prussian Blue Twins or whatever, like the Thai Brides episode. Like he's just showing you what it is now. And I guess he just leaves it up to the viewer to dive deeper into it, which, I mean, on a TV show from 25 years ago, like Weird Weekends, I get it. It's like an hour-long show, but now it's like you can make a longer show. You can expand on it and talk about like the deeper things, like how does this affect our culture and where is it coming from? he just sort of like he was just too respectful, like
Of incels.
yeah, too respectful. Like, I get that he wants to have some rapport with them like when he's in front of them, because they're not going to give him information if he doesn't. But like, he doesn't go into like the like you said, the influence, like how it hurts like women and girls, and that was strange for it to be missing, because that seems like the most important thing. Like,
It almost felt a little bit like part one, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
which I mean, I don't know. He maybe he'll have a part one, but it didn't say part, or maybe he'll have a part two, but this didn't say part one. And like I said, it should have gone deeper. Like, where do these people come from? Because it's one thing to just expose these people a little bit, but the thing is, these people are not that underground. They have a lot of exposure because they post shock content. It's all just shock content, like shock rock in the 80s or something like that, except now it's like online stuff, and it's all about being like a rapist, weirdo, homophobic asshole, like this HS guy who's like, oh, well, if my son were gay, I would disown him. I'm not homophobic, though, which is really weird. I wonder if he just said it to be shocking. And then like people see these like shock grifters, and they're just like, oh, well, I mean, he said it, so I mean, that's normal now, like, because all these like weirdos who hang out with each other say it. Like, I should be pointing downward, actually, when I think about like Sneeko and people like that. Like, they see Sneeko and they think that the things he's saying are completely normal, even though they're just trying to be shocking. I'm sure some of them are delusional enough to like believe the garbage that's coming out of their mouths. So of course you've got the HS guy who like admitted, oh no, I'm just saying this stuff to be offensive, to get clickbait and to get attention, clickbait, whatever. Whereas
money, essentially.
money, yeah, he just like flat out admits it. Whereas the Sneeko guy just seems like he's actually mentally ill, and no one is checking up on him because because empathy is now wrong. Apparently, like it's woke.
Woke.
Yeah. Wokeathy.
I did find the one thing that was terrifying and that was enraging to me was seeing all the young boys, teenage
walking
boys.
up like, hey, bro.
Exactly. Like, oh, I love your content. I agree with your content. I want to take a photo with you because I love you. I support you. And To
Yeah, what the
think that
fuck?
these boys are gonna grow up to become men and they're gonna walk amongst us, they're gonna be able to vote, they're gonna be able
Be
to.
politicians?
Exactly. And it is terrifying because it's a dangerous seed to plant, right? And then once they grow up, I mean, even at that point, they can still do a lot of damage, even as teenage boys.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me shudder to think about the future of basically society as a whole when we have a generation of boys who buy into this mentality, who think that it's okay to demean women, it's okay to humiliate women, it's okay to blame women for their shortcoming.
Yeah, for their own shortcoming. It's women's fault that I'm an asshole.
Yeah, and I do think that part of it is just money because they did talk a lot about the attention economy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, about how, oh, you need to be shocking, you need to say all of these outrageous things to make money and constantly producing content. And I kind of understand that urgency because I'm also a content creator. I understand that. But at one point, you gotta have principle, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, you won't be successful if you have things like morality and principles and it's all about that buck, bro.
Not in this economy, no. But hopefully the pendulum will swing back, maybe.
Swing away from that shit. I mean, I do hope that it's just another fad and people are going to look back at this fad and be like, God, that's so cringy. And I mean, more than just cringy, but they're going to look back at that and like these people are going to try to play it down. Like people like HS. I don't know his real name. I don't remember.
It doesn't
Because it
matter.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're going to be like, oh, that stuff, that was just like, that was back then. That was of that time. I'm not like that anymore. You know, I'm distancing myself from that, that
Yeah.
toxic sludge. But I don't know. Since there's a bunch of young boys consuming this garbage content, this shock content, like who knows how it permanently affects their minds?
Yeah, I agree. All right, to go deeper into my earlier criticism about it, I felt like it was, like we said, it was very basic. It was very Manosphere 101, Incel 101. And the most infuriating thing about the documentary was that it did not go into the impact. Louis did not interview women and girls who
Yeah,
are personally affected by this because we got a lot of male voices, right? We got the voices of the incels and it feels like we're platforming them in a way,
yeah,
but then platforming them can be dangerous because we are exposing them into mainstream culture without talking about the implication of it, without talking about why it's dangerous, without
yeah.
condemning them. So it's kind of like, hey, here's this lifestyle. We're not going to talk about why you shouldn't go into this lifestyle.
It was irresponsible of Louis to do that. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
some things you can have an intro. Like here's an introduction. It's 101. What? Look at the Westboro Baptists. We're gonna, like he has 2 episodes with the Westboro Baptists, for example, and they're good episodes. Like, and you learn a lot about the family, and you can tell this family is gonna break apart, and they did break apart years after the documentaries were finished. Uh, but like this is an ongoing social issue. It's not just like a fringe family of like Christian fanatic lawyers who just go out there to get sued, to countersue and make money off of that. Like
Yeah.
this isn't like some small group. This is like a brand new. I mean, this specific iteration of misogyny is a brand new thing that is like rapidly spreading around the outside of the United States. It's spreading around to here also.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels a little bit to me like how, whenever a crime happens, whenever sexual assault happens, there's a lot of focus on the perpetrator, on the man, on the rapist. Like, oh, here's this, like Brock Turner, for example. He was a swimmer, he was in Stanford. But
He's a
then
young man. He's got a bright future. Don't taint that future, bro.
exactly, and we knew very, very little about the survivors, about the victims, even in a lot of serial killer cases, like in Jeffrey Dahmer, in a lot of those cases. We know their names instantly, but we don't know anything about their victims and their survivors. So it feels like we're erasing women's voices. We're saying that these are just nameless, these are just faceless people experiencing the consequences of the manosphere. Whereas I feel like he should have just allowed women to also speak
Yeah,
because it did feel a little bit like erasing our voices.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or just like ignoring it.
exactly.
And I could go on a tangent with the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix documentary miniseries because it was, they, I guess I will just briefly, but like they only focused on Jeffrey Dahmer. There's only one episode where you learn about an actual victim,
Mm-hmm.
a deaf guy, and the whole episode was all about the deaf guy. And Jeffrey Dahmer is just sort of like this outside character who only appears halfway into the episode for the first time and then
Mm-hmm.
disappears for a while, and then they meet each other, and it's just about that. It humanizes the victim, and there's only one episode out of all those episodes from that entire miniseries that does that. Like everything else is about Jeffrey Dahmer, and Netflix was like, we're not trying to humanize Jeffrey Dahmer, but then you made a whole show where you're humanizing only him, except for this one episode, which is the exception. So we have a tendency to just focus on like the perpetrator of the crimes, the
Yeah.
perpetrator of the violence,
Yeah.
and not on the victims.
Yeah. And I think this is the problem with approaching media from a male gaze, because it felt very much from a male gaze, because Louis is not the one deeply personally affected
Yeah,
by the
he's not.
Manosphere, right? So his perspective, his gaze was just about focusing on the boys, on the men, centering them rather than centering women and girls who are the victims, who are affected by this, by looking at the documentary from a female gaze instead. I feel like if this documentary was made by a female producer, then it would have been different.
Yeah, it would have been. I think Louis really. I think like in a certain way it does expose a lot to like in a 101 kind of way, but I think Louis dropped the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, quite a bit actually, on this thing, because there's an entire world that he just did not touch upon, which is like how it affects people, why, like in 2024 after Donald Trump won the 2024 election, Nick Fuentes was able to like actually make it into a meme where he's like, "Your body, my choice."
Oh my god, very punchable.
Yeah, and then like little boys are saying that to little girls in
Yeah.
elementary schools across the United States, and it's like, if Nick Fuentes existed in like a vacuum, and he was just like this weirdo freak Nazi guy, when the Manosphere didn't exist, then like that might have not have caught on, but Manosphere influence is like, huh, hey, clip this and spreading it
Yeah.
around, and yeah,
It's becoming a big problem, and I do hope that, and it's ridiculous to say, oh, it's just a documentary, maybe he didn't want to make it too long, but Netflix is known for having like a million part docu-series,
yeah.
right?
Also, he can have as much time as he wants. He's Louis Theroux. Like everyone knows who the fuck he is, and he's been around for like 30 years. Like,
Yeah, so I do feel like I think he got into it a little bit when he was trying to talk to the girlfriend and the wife,
yeah, and
but
the
then
mom of HS. Yeah,
yeah, but then he did not pursue that. He just dropped it when he hit a wall. And he's
yeah,
like, okay, I guess I'm not allowed to talk to them. And that's it. He did not push at that point.
yeah. He doesn't like push that hard usually. I've seen a lot of his shows. He doesn't push that hard. It's very rare that he'll like get angry
I
or
mean, I don't
get
mean like get
aggressive
angry, but like challenge them, you know?
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It felt like he was just going with the flow rather than challenging these men. Be-
He probably figured he'd be like kicked out of there, but it's like, so like there are plenty of there's a lot of these people you can talk to and follow around.
but then if he got kicked out, that would also show the character of these men, right?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that's the point of it. All right. So, after the documentary came out, there have been a lot of discussions around it. And one of the things that I have seen mostly coming from men is that they think, oh, this is an empathy problem. They think that,
We should
oh,
feel bad for the assholes.
they think that all these young boys are indoctrinated into red pill culture because they weren't taught empathy, because somehow we have failed our boys, our men, somewhere along the way, and we need to teach them, we need to support them, we need to teach them empathy, we need to center them somehow and see things from their perspective.
I mean, they're already the center though, but like let's center them more. Like even the documentary that was making fun of them, like they're the front and center. These losers, like they're the front and center. So like let's center them even more and ignore everything around them that they touch.
So do you think it's an empathy problem?
No, fuck that. That's fucking stupid. Like if anything, if there's an empathy problem anywhere, it's these like guys who are getting into this and they don't have any empathy for like the outside world at all, or even each other in a way. because they're just ripping each other off. They're just grifting on each other, stealing from each other, selling courses to each other. Just
I do feel like, so there's this book by Bell Hooks called um Men, The Will to Love Men. I think that's what it's called, The Will to Love Men. And she talked about how boys are taught from a very young age to be violent.
yeah,
That's something that they've been taught.
that anger is not an emotion somehow.
Yeah,
That a
but
guy like picking up his laptop and breaking it in half is somehow not him being emotional. That's pretty fucking emotional.
it's a normal reaction
like
somehow.
like fuck off. That's emotional. Like putting your fist through a wall, like throwing your controller at the TV because you lost at a video game, or
Or your football team
yeah, like
lost.
I have a family member who do that all the time. They just in front of their kids who are like 7 years old, they'd get up and just scream like "fucking run faster!" And it's just a sports game. They're not even an athlete. Like they don't know the people on the
Yeah.
TV screen either. And we're told that's normal. That extreme psychotic behavior is somehow normal.
Yeah, there was a commercial at the Super Bowl a few years ago where the commercial was basically it looked like the TV suddenly switched channel to
Oh
something
yeah.
else. Yeah. And a lot of men were so upset by it that they were abusive towards their partner, that they punched the TV, they broke the TV. This is why it shows that during sports games the rate of the calls to domestic violence centers, it goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absurd. The only emotion you're supposed to feel is, oh wait, no, it's not an emotion. You're supposed to get angry. You're supposed to get violent, but those aren't emotions because emotions are feminine
Yeah.
somehow.
And remember that male motivational post that we saw mentioned smile because being happy is feminine?
You might be gay, bro, if you're like if you smile around, especially around a woman. That's pretty fucking gay. Nick Fuentes was saying something like that. Like if you actually no, he said if you have a girlfriend that's gay, that you're supposed to just marry and then have kids immediately
Yeah.
because he's probably
somehow.
gay.
All right, let's bring it back a little bit. So Bell Hooks said that boys are taught to be violent from a very young age. So I don't think that it's an empathy problem. I think it's a societal problem
It
where
is.
boys are not, basically they're taught to be violent,
Yeah,
right?
they're taught to be not they're taught not to show their feelings. They're taught to hold it in, be tough, never ask for help, be hyper individualistic, and that's really awful. It's an awful way to be raised, I think.
So the one thing that I did notice in that documentary was the two men who came in and they said that I support, was it HS or someone else?
Yeah, I think so.
Or the older guy?
One of them, one of those
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
they said that they support that lifestyle and they agree with it because
They're losers.
they're losers essentially.
That's what they
one
admit.
of them, one of them did not have a job, and he he blamed women for it somehow. So I think that the problem here are two things: capitalism and patriarchy.
Yeah.
They intersect and then they create this festering cesspool that is the Manosphere. Because the problem is that the cost of living is becoming higher and higher. It's almost unbearable, right, for many
Yeah.
people at this point. And a lot of people cannot find jobs because AI is replacing a lot of entry jobs and even now a lot of other jobs as well. Jeff Bezos is planning on investing $100 billion to fully automate Amazon factories and Amazon
Yeah.
centers and all
So
of
those
that.
those workers lose their jobs too.
Exactly. So many people are going to lose their jobs. At the same time, women are thriving compared to men because women are able to go to college, women are able to pursue a career, women are able to get as much equal rights as possible in certain parts
Certain
of the
parts
world.
of the world, yeah.
Exactly. So because of that, women are advancing, and when men are experiencing all of these problems that are caused by capitalism, they are told by these men like Andrew Tate that the problem that you're failing in life is not because of capitalism, it's not because of the billionaires, it's not because the government is failing you, but it's because of the women.
The women did it. Why'd the women do that?
So somehow women have become the scapegoats of this problem. So it's patriarchy by blaming women for it, for wanting equality, for wanting equal piece of the pie, with capitalism that is making life incredibly difficult. And a one income household is no longer something that is feasible, right, for many people. And men and these boys, they were brought up in a society that tells them that you need to be a provider in order to be valuable.
An emotionless provider. Except
Exactly.
anger. Anger's not an emotion.
Yeah, and
There's reasons.
that creates the problem, right? Because now they cannot be the sole provider anymore because you just can't in this economy. You can't. So when they can't be the provider, they feel like they're failing. And then women being scapegoats, they're blaming women. But then also because they have no emotional outlet because they're taught that anger is the solution, is a default emotion, then they resort to anger. So being angry at women. I think this is the crux of the problem.
Yeah, it's no different than blaming trans people or like brown people or Muslims or the disabled or whatever the fuck, people from Mexico or whatever. Like there's some scapegoat, and if you look at the scapegoat over there and we fuck you over, you won't notice because you're looking at them while we blame them, while we fuck you over and take, I don't know, your job or your home or your health care or whatever the fuck, your workers' rights, all that stuff. We'll take it, but like look at that person over there while we pull the wallet out of the back of your pants or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, because ultimately these alpha bros, these Andrew Tate kind of figures, they all benefit the billionaires by maintaining the system. That's why the billionaires love them so much. That's why they platform them.
They're useful idiots. Like they don't. Half of them aren't even smart enough to understand the stuff that we're talking about. Really, they just happen to be convenient, useful cogs in this machine to defend people like shitheads like Peter Thiel. Who I wouldn't be surprised if Peter Thiel was watching some of this stuff and like funding some of these weirdos to live these like loser lifestyles.
I mean, that's why when Elon Musk bought Twitter, he gave back the platform to all of these men, right?
Yeah, all these freaks, all these losers.
Exactly.
These people who like dedicate their lives to not having a life. Just human garbage. And also this is a different thing, but it's interesting how because the gender role, like you're supposed to be a provider and you're supposed to like it's you're a piece of shit if you're gay, for example. A lot of these guys, they want to impress other guys by getting a certain kind of woman, by having a certain kind of woman in their life, and it's all about impressing other men. Like my girlfriend's breasts, like they're so big, and like that impresses like other men, and I really like that. That's what gets me off, is how other men perceive that. Like, just like, yeah, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of misogynists are not gay. A lot of them have like other problems, but a lot of these guys I think are just gay. And it's not like being gay causes them to be misogynist or something like that. It's just that like they have this feeling they can't express, and they refuse to accept this thing that's just innately part of them. And so then they want to blame someone for their frustration, and then someone comes along like blame women for everything else, and then they'll start blaming women for not being attracted to them also. Not just because they can't get jobs. I don't think all of the incel losers are gay or even curious about men in that way, but a lot of them, I think a lot of them who are so concerned about impressing other men are just fucking gay and are in denial of it.
I also think that a lot of these men who follow the Manosphere are beta cucks.
Yeah, they're submissives.
Yeah, they're very submissive.
They're subs. They're fin subs. Like financial submission to Andrew Tate. Like Andrew Tate is the dominatrix, and like these guys come in and just pay him tons of money. Like, you're a loser. Like, give me money, you won't be a loser. Here you go, sir. Give me more. Like, like they serve HS, or they serve Sneeko or whatever, like these young boys are submitting to Sneeko on the street, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, yeah, this is there's a BDSM feeling to this, like a creepy, just very creepy fin sub kind of situation here. Except they don't
Yeah.
even know they're fin subs; they think they're alpha. Like if you call yourself an alpha male, like you're a sub, first of all. And there's nothing inherently wrong with being submissive, but if you're a psychopathic, like steroid chugging asshole weirdo or incel loser consuming Manosphere content, then that is a problem.
I do feel like a lot of right wing men are very, very submissive because they look to other men to
Yeah,
tell them what to do.
yeah, they do. They looked at Donald Trump, like, well, I mean, the insurrection that's pretty bad, right? But let's check our daddy. What does daddy
Yeah.
think? He did the insurrection, but does he think it was bad? I don't think it was bad. I was the best president ever. They stole the election from me. And then Mike Johnson or whatever, like not Mike Johnson. I meant to say Ted Cruz or whatever. Like they just crack and like, okay, daddy, yes, daddy. Please, or I'm the no war candidate. Kamala, she'll start a million wars. She'll be on her period and start a billion wars with 100 trillion countries. And then less than like within 6 months later, he's bombing Iran. And what are the conservatives doing? They're just like, ah, yes, sir, that's great. Like now we're totally against war and we're totally against bombing Iran, but you just did it. That now it's fine. You
It's
said
kind
it's
of
okay.
it's exactly how it's exactly why they're changing the narrative every day because one day Trump is like, this war is ending, and people are like, yeah, this
We did
war
it
is
really
ending.
well.
And then he's like, but it's the beginning.
It's not even different days. Like he did a conference like a few days ago where he contradicted himself like 8 times on camera while giving one speech. Excuse me. While sitting there giving one speech, like 12:54, he's like, "This is not a forever war." He doesn't say those exact words, but then 12:55, he's like, "This is meant to be a forever war. We might not ever have to leave
But we need $200 billion.
because
Because
we already won the war. We won the war. That's why we need more money, and we need NATO to ally with us because
we also
otherwise
don't need
we
NATO.
don't need them because they rejected us. And that was I didn't even bring up NATO, but they just came. They were just cowardly from the start. They just ran away from me when I looked at them." And a lot of these like freaks look up to that and like, hey, that's normal. I'm gonna be like that. That fucking like unbalanced loser. I'm gonna be that.
it does feel a little bit like we're experiencing mass psychosis.
Yeah, it does. And part of the Manosphere is completely in that. Like there is no part of the Manosphere that isn't part of that. It is mass psychosis
That's
aimed at
why
men.
That's why I believe that when we are dissecting the manosphere, when we are criticizing the manosphere, we cannot do it on an individual level. We
No,
cannot
of
just say
course
that,
not. It's a
oh, it's
systemic
because
problem.
exactly. We cannot just say, oh, HS or Sneeko is a misunderstood boy or whatever. We cannot say that.
Misunderstood.
Yeah, we or he was failed as a child or his parents didn't hug him enough or anything like that. It's a systemic problem. We need to look at the bigger picture. We need to look at capitalism. We need to look at patriarchy because a lot of these problems they intersect and then they create this.
Yeah. Um, and by hyper focusing on these people, we humanize them, and then
Yeah.
when they do like horrible things, when one of the Manosphere people becomes another, I don't know, Elliot Rodger or Alex Manassin, we'll just have sympathy for them, or we'll be told, and the news will have sympathy for them. Like, but their daddy beat them, you know, and
Yeah, I remember a serial killer a while back. He was caught. He was raping women. He was a serial rapist as well. And it came out somehow the news came out and said that he started doing that after his fiance left him. And you can guess what happened. People were blaming the fiance. People were like, this is what happens when a woman breaks your heart. Like, no,
it's always
no.
some woman's fault. Like you're a man, and it's always it's like interesting contradiction how like the men are naturally leaders, but they break the second like a woman leaves them or rejects them or doesn't give them their number. Like they just break, and all of a sudden they can't control themselves. They're men, but they're also built to be leaders by nature at the same time. Like what the fuck? Like how does it not like how do people not connect that and realize that doesn't make sense? That's a contradiction.
Yeah.
How are we repeating this narrative?
That's why I always advocate for free therapy for everyone,
Yeah.
mandatory therapy for everyone,
Yeah.
but especially if you're a man.
Yeah, that's the man part, mandatory. Yeah,
Yeah.
mandatory therapy. But a lot of them would consider that to be like gay or something, gay in the 2005 kind of way. Like that's gay, bro.
It also reminds me of this guy, this incel who paid for a girlfriend online, and he spent $50,000 just to hire women to be submissive, to never say no to him online. Whereas therapy would have cost a lot
A
less than
lot
that.
less. Yeah, he would have been able to buy a house by now, and he'd be like a normal person instead of like chronically jacking off in his basement and being mad at women and wondering why women don't like him as he says things. Well, women should be. Well, I mean, women are inferior, and I'm owed a woman. Why don't they like me when I
He
say
literally
that?
said that women,
Yeah, I'm owed a woman.
yeah.
All of them say that. Like, I'm owed this. Where's my thing that I'm owed?
And
Where's the object I'm owed? Which is the woman, of course, from their perspective.
and you know what they love to say when they talk about why they're celibate, why they're an incel, they're like, because women only want 10%, 90% of women only want 10% of the top men. Like, where is this number coming from?
Well, I mean, it comes from their asses. They just make it up.
It's
They're
always
just it's a projection thing. Like they just decided like, oh, society's against me and it's all the chads, all the football brutes
Stacey's.
who get all the women and like I'm just scraps and ladies, you need to lower your standards. That was a meme like 10 years ago, this
Yeah.
kid like doing that, and I can't remember the kid's name though.
And they're always like, oh, women only date men who are over 6 feet tall.
They have to like women these days, they want men who have 800-foot long dicks and are 600 light years tall and they're made of solid gold. And like if you're not all the three of the if you're not those three things, those three pillars, then women are just like, no, I don't see you, bro. I don't
And
see you. I gotta do the Donald Trump voice for some reason.
And somehow that even spilled over to women reading fantasy, women reading erotica, or
Or
women reading
women
smut,
reading at all.
or women reading, but
Yeah.
also women reading smut, because suddenly, I mean, smut are essentially fiction, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes things are a little bit exaggerated in fiction. Like the guy is, for example, an alien, a 7 foot tall alien, or he has a penis that can't be wrapped around with two hands.
In
And
seven
then
heads or whatever.
yeah, and then somehow these men, these incels, look at that and they're like, see, these women only want 7 foot tall men.
Alien men who are green and like fly around in spaceships, and I'm too poor to get a spaceship because the women took the jobs away from me, so I can't afford a spaceship or to grow my dick 7 feet long or whatever the fuck. Like aliens, like they just don't. They're just like children. Like there's obvious like some kind of social society caused delayed mental development in these people, which could be fixed if they were like not in a grifter economy. Not that I'm saying that like we should focus on just their feelings, because a lot of them are grown up enough to like even we watched the documentary about that one guy with the mask, and he knows he's in the wrong. He's just like, it's like, yeah, but I'm owed this, and I know how it sounds, but I don't go outside of my bubble. I've been the moderator of this like creepy forum for 7 years, and it's like, I'm comfortable here. And then he's on the couch with these women. And he says this weird shit, and he sees how like real humans react to him, and I don't know if anyone asked him like, why do you take advice about women from guys who can't be with women?
And then
I
they're
don't know if
like,
anyone asked him that.
I've heard men who say this, and then when women are like, no, that's not what we want, they're like, you're a woman, you don't know what you want.
I know what you want. That's why I'm still a virgin when I'm 38 years old, and I'm angry about it.
Okay, last question, last point that we need to discuss. What should we do about it? What should we do with the boys? Do we send them to an island with Elon Musk and send them off to Mars? What do we do with them?
We'll paint an island red and tell them that it's Mars. Like, just knock them out, give them some sedatives, and they wake up. And it's like, this is Mars. Turns out it has the breathable atmosphere, and you're stuck there, by the way.
So what should we do with them? Should we empathize with them? Should we gentle parent them? Should we coddle them? I don't know.
The thing is, like, we waste this time coddling these morons who chose to jump into this thing. I think one thing that definitely needs to happen, though, and it's not about like the little boys who are idolizing fucking losers. like total trash losers who are obviously losers. I think we need to regulate the internet more and get rid of these people, like kick them off the internet, like the Andrew Tates and the Sneakos, and stop giving them platforms. Like we shouldn't allow them to exist. Like fuck your, like, and they can whine about freedom of speech. Like fuck your freedom of speech. Like it's not a freedom of speech thing. Like you're not allowed to say this stupid shit online. Like it's not violating your freedom of speech. Like fuck off. You just can't spread your stupid ideology or turn your mediocre sad boy self-pity garbage into an ideology that makes people dehumanize other people. Like fuck you. Fuck you and fuck your feelings about it and fuck your bank accounts. Fuck you. You need to go away, die off somewhere. The boys who are affected by this stuff, I don't know, like
Go to therapy.
therapy I guess will fix them hopefully, and but also like deprogramming, like let them understand that this is actually a cult. It's a sad boy cult, submissive sad boy cult, like a Finn sub sad boy cult.
We need to rebrand the Manosphere.
It's a sad boy cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just sad boys, angry sad boys, who are addicted to self pity, and they have like pity contests on Reddit about it, or they used to before they got banned, before the incel forums got banned on Reddit. Now they do it somewhere else,
4chan.
4chan or someplace. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think what we need to focus on the most though is like how it impacts women, like especially in like the early stage, like in elementary schools. Like the boys are like this, and they should just be taken out of the class, not tolerated, and like or I don't know, like there's a lot that needs to be done.
Yeah.
There's so much damage, and it's happening so quickly that it's hard to even assess.
Yeah, I do agree with regulating social media, especially social media, not just the internet, because the algorithm is so vicious. I remember a journalist did this whole very short investigative report where he created a new account, a brand new account, and within less than an hour, he started getting recommended red pill content. Like immediately, the algorithm on YouTube just pushed red pill content to him because it identified him as a teenage boy. So I think that social media needs to be regulated, and I know that it is possible because back when Charlie Cook died, they really just went at anyone who did any content about Charlie Cook.
Yeah,
So
anything
if-
negative of him, even just quoting him because he was a piece of shit. But and fuck him, and fuck anyone who feels bad for him, and fuck his grifter wife, Erica, piece of shit Kirk. When anyone would talk shit about him or make fun of him or just quote him, his actual words that he said on his piece of shit mediocre TV show, or not TV show, his podcast. What was it? Turning Point USA.
Turning
Yeah.
Point USA.
They get banned or flagged or whatever the fuck, even though they're just quoting him, literally just his words. That's how fucking terrible this person was.
Yeah.
Fuck him, and fuck anyone who feels bad for him. Like, you're a piece of shit too if you feel bad for Charlie Kirk.
So just a little bit on that, I'm gonna have to bleep out a sentence that you said there because YouTube took down one of my videos for similar stuff. So I'm gonna have to bleep one sentence off, and you're gonna have to fill in the blank yourself. What?
I'm gonna do my Charlie Kirk impression.
No. No. Okay. No. All right. He's probably looking up at us right now.
Well, that would mean he would be, punished for the way he lived his life. There's probably no afterlife, though.
But anyway, we were talking about regulating social media. So, yeah, I do think that the problem is that a lot of the social media platforms are basically are controlled by these billionaires who have no empathy, who do not give a fuck about women, about girls. I mean, look at it this way. Facebook started out as a website to rate women.
Yeah, by Mark Zuckerberg. Creepy incel behavior right there. Self-pity.
So you cannot expect a website that started out as a platform to rate women to be something that's gender sensitive.
Yeah. The Social Network movie actually depicts him as creepy also. which is nice. I haven't seen that movie in years. Excellent soundtrack, but
Mm.
like they don't cut that out. Like he's just like, no, I want to see which women are single, and this is gonna we're gonna we're gonna rate their faces and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. So we need to look at it like that. That's why the governments, not just one country's government, but the governments in general, like in Europe, in the US, everywhere, need to work together. And governments working together, but they need to work together in order to curb and in order to put a regulation, put control over these billionaires who own these social media platforms. I mean, we are looking at how all social media platforms are essentially just owned by a handful of billionaires.
yeah,
And that's not okay because these billionaires are mostly men, and they probably
conservative.
are right wing as well. Yeah. So they really shape how people think,
Yeah.
especially young people.
Well, I mean, also all billionaires are right wing. You don't amass that amount of
That's true.
money without being like a conservative shithead.
Just some are worse than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely we need a regulation on social media because it's not okay that these incels are given a platform like that, and documentaries that are made about them need to be tackled responsibly.
Not just thrown out there like here's a introduction 101 kind of thing, and then someone's like some like I don't know 13-year-old kid who has Netflix sees that like what's the manosphere, and they watch this thing and they start relating to all the
Mm-hmm.
predators and the weirdos and the losers and the incel freaks, and they become radicalized and become a piece of shit
Yeah.
danger to society.
Yeah, because you're platforming them without telling people the consequences.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, any last words?
um who do you think is the most dangerous billionaire? Not the biggest
Ooh.
loser billionaire, but the most like creepily like disgusting, like just mentally disfigured, fucked up, evil person.
Donald
Who's it?
Trump.
Donald Trump?
Because he holds too much power.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say Peter Thiel.
But I mean, Donald Trump is the immediate danger right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Okay.
holds too much power
You
because
win. Yeah.
Peter Thiel holds power, but by proxy, right?
Yeah.
But
In the
Donald Trump is the
background.
one with the hand on the red button.
Yeah. He is. He is. I mean, he is also a bit detached though, whereas Peter Thiel has a creepy ideology, like a libertarian, whereas Donald Trump's ideology is make me money and rape. I love rape and I love money.
And he's also sundowning.
Sundowning, like clearly going away mentally, like when he called piece of shit Gavin Newsom the president of the United States. And he doesn't even correct himself. He just keeps going. And he's
Yeah.
also trying to call him new scum. It's like I don't think Donald Trump's in a place to insult anyone, first of all. But like, yeah, he's clearly gone.
I mean, Sam Altman is also pretty evil because OpenAI just sold their technology to allow the US government to just kill people without even conscience because
Oh, good.
no one's doing it, right?
Yeah.
So, but I do think that Donald Trump is the immediate danger right
Yeah.
now.
Well, I mean, okay, difference between like there's dangerous but most evil with the most malicious intentions.
Um, Sam Altman is pretty bad. Peter Thiel is also pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think Elon Musk is so annoying and also terrible, but also he's very much a loser that needs validation that sometimes it's like just come on, man.
It's just like pity.
Yeah.
No one pities piece of shit Peter Thiel. Like everyone knows he's basically like the Darth Vader of like the billionaires or something like that. Whereas Elon Musk, he's just this such a fucking infinite loser, just like the biggest loser on the planet.
I mean, Hitler was rejected out of art school, right? Elon Musk has never had anyone laugh at his jokes.
Yeah, he paid to be on SNL. And I love the video of Elon Musk sitting there on the plane listening to Grimes, his ex, and he's just like being a sad boy, like alone in the dark on his plane, testing what was his internet service, a Starlink or whatever.
Yes,
the
Skylink?
fuck? Skylink, Starlink. No, I think it's Starlink.
Starlink, yeah, it's
one of
Starlink,
those.
yeah.
And like the entire chat is just telling him that he's a fucking loser and he'll die alone, and everyone hates him. It's so
Or
sad.
or when he was playing the game online and then he kept losing
Yeah,
and he
oh,
pretended
that's a different one. Yeah.
yeah, he pretended that he was losing connection.
But before that, even he was paying people to play. I forget the game. I can visualize it, but he was paying people to play this game. I don't know. I don't think was it an MMO, but he was paying people to play it and stream it while they would pretend to
Oh
be
yeah,
him.
yeah.
And then eventually he got caught. Just like, why do you want people to think you're good at this game? It's not going to make people think you're charismatic all of a sudden.
It reminds me of this headline by this brilliant journalist. I wish I remember her name, but she said something along the line of, I always knew that the world would be ruined by a bunch of men, but I didn't think that they would be such
Such
losers.
losers.
Yeah.
Ultra losers.
Yeah.
That's it, basically.
All right. Well, this has been a very long episode. So thank you everyone for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. And you can listen to us on podcast apps as well. Don't forget to leave a review, leave some ratings, give us some love. And we will see you in the next episode.
Me out you later. Should we show off Cleo again?
She's sleeping.
Okay. Let her sleep.
Next
Bingley's sleeping
time.
too. If you heard us snoring, that was Bingley down there, the dog. He snores a lot.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.